For those who consider themselves middle-aged, your kids are out of the house, maybe you're retired already, then you're probably ready to head out on a relaxing cruise, or possibly an adventurous one. Maybe you've been cruising on large resort-style ships with your children and are ready to try out something new. We're going to look at some cruise lines that might be more your style. Ahoy travelers, it's Amy here to help you make your cruise travel experience a success. 60 is the new 40, right? Right? As I rapidly approach 50, I sure hope so. I actually looked up what is considered a middle age, and it ranged anywhere from 40 to 65, so I definitely qualify. I mean, that does cover all of Gen X, which I am proudly a member of. Now, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, but it seems like 50 just isn't as old as it used to be. I mean, it's possibly because I'm getting older, but look at the Golden Girls who were in their 50s and then 60s throughout the series. Alice from the Brady Bunch was in her 40s. No one my age looks like that nowadays. I swear women used to just give up looking young, cut off all their hair, and then head to the beauty shop once a week for a fresh set of curls. I mean, I had my grandmother, great aunt, they did this. But who under the age of 80 still does this? I know you're not going to catch me heading into the hairdresser after I turn 50 and asking to look like any of the Golden Girls. Even though us Gen Xers aren't ready to move out into pasture yet, or senior housing, whatever you want to call it, I just can't be the only one who enjoys a more relaxed vacation with some of the finer things in life. While I would never say that a middle-aged cruiser won't enjoy themselves on one of the big 3 resort-style lines, 4 if you count MSC, let's be honest. Many of us are looking for a vacation without a lot of small children running around, possibly higher-end cuisine and some entertainment designed with adults in mind. And I, for one, love our Carnival cruises, but I choose to cruise in the off-season when school's in session and longer 7-day cruises, which really does cut down on the party atmosphere that some Carnival cruises have. My next 2 cruises are on large resort-style ships, but I also am really looking forward to an upcoming cruise on the Celebrity Apex to really see what it's like sailing on what's considered a more sophisticated cruise line. Those who've been around for a while will know that I'm a budget cruiser. Now, that doesn't mean I'm only going to cruise on the cheapest cruise I can find, but it does mean that I want to get the most from what I spend. While you can almost be assured to get high-end luxury with little to no children on expensive luxury and ultra-luxury cruise lines, we're going to focus more on lines that are probably going to be within the means of the majority of cruisers. So let's look at some cruise lines that's going to fit that bill. First off, Princess Cruises. I would consider Princess a mid-tier line with pricing that's higher than that of your base tier budget resort lines, but well below that of luxury lines. Sometimes Princess and their counterparts are referred to as premium cruise lines. However, with the outrageous prices found on Royal Caribbean's new Icon of the Seas, I mean, we're at the point where some of those cabins on some of the sailings for Icon of the Seas are costing 2 and 3 times what you would expect on something like Princess or Celebrity, even Holland America. And that's really blurring lines when it comes to these price points that you're expecting. Anyway, the bulk of Princess's ships are mid-sized ships with little to lend themselves to families with young children who are looking for amenities like water parks and roller coasters. However, it is important to note that the line's newest ship, the Sun Princess, is much larger, holding over 5,000 passengers and sporting a new zone that looks a lot like what you would find on maybe some of the smaller ships in those resort-style lines. This does make me wonder if Princess is trying to market themselves more to families with younger children and younger cruisers. Even so, if you stick to their older ships, you're going to easily be able to find ships that suit those of us looking for a more sophisticated adult experience. So what can you hope to expect on a Princess cruise? They have plenty of nightly entertainment, including Broadway caliber shows like rock opera, the technologically advanced Five Skies, and The Secret Silk, which features life-size puppetry from Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Maybe some live jazz served up with craft cocktails is more your style. They got that. Or possibly even a movie under the stars. I know that's one of my favorite evening activities on board ships. Foodies are going to appreciate the quality and variety of foods offered, and those who don't like to be tied down to the same daily schedule are going to appreciate Princess's personalized dining that allows guests to choose when and where they eat each evening. Many Princess cruisers are also a huge fan of the wearable medallion system, which is a definite technological step above using cruise ship cards, with benefits like being able to locate your shipmates and order food to be delivered to you almost wherever you are on board the ship. Now, I love researching, and I also love a good spreadsheet. While I was working on gathering information for this video, I actually created a spreadsheet of all the major cruise lines and data from each class of ship within those lines. Things like tonnage, how many cabins and decks there are, how many passengers ships can hold, and even passenger to crew ratios. I wanted to really see the difference in lines as well as how big ships have gotten within those lines. When I looked at Princess, you can see how large the Sun Princess is to something like the Coral Princess. Not only can the Sun hold over double the passengers, but the space ratio per person is smaller and the passenger to crew ratio is higher. Will you get the same level of sophistication on Princess's larger ships? I imagine so. They're beautiful to look at. But some of the intimacy of the smaller ships may get lost, which is something to take into consideration. Now, another line is Celebrity, similar to Princess in many ways. It's yet to push into that resort market like Princess seems to be experimenting with, but they do often market to generational families. This means that you might find some families with younger children on Celebrity ships as they sail with their parents and grandparents. Celebrity's newer Edge-class ships are bigger, and at almost 4,000 passengers, they hold a little more than what I would normally consider to be a mid-sized ship, but they're still a far cry from the large resort-style ships that regularly hold over 4,000 or 5,000, pushing 7,000 people at this point. So what can you expect from a Celebrity cruise? Gorgeous indoor and outdoor spaces designed for relaxation, while you sail on one of the line's varied itineraries, and they have a lot to choose from. After spending time reading a book or sipping a cocktail at one of the indoor garden areas or the rooftop terraces, then you can recharge with cuisine from one of the many dining venues on board the ship. While you can always spend extra to enjoy high-end cuisine from a specialty restaurant, there are plenty of great food that's included in your cruise fare. After your evening meal, you might choose to take in a show. These will vary from ship to ship, with many newer ships offering technologically stunning shows that utilize their huge wraparound LED screens. And they've got these huge screens that are like, I think they're 270 degrees maybe. Don't quote me on that one. Perhaps you would rather enjoy live music in one of the smaller venues or join in on one of the many deck parties. Silent disco is another favorite evening event for many. One thing I really like about lines like Celebrity and Princess that you don't find on Carnival and Royal are the upgraded cruise packages. If you enjoy drinks and Wi-Fi, then upgrading your booking to something like Princess's Princess Plus or Celebrity's all-included package can save you money over adding these drink and Wi-Fi packages separately, like you have to do on Carnival or Royal Caribbean. While both lines are similar and often compared to one another, you will have to try out both to decide which fits your preferences best. So let's look at our third line, Holland America. Much like Celebrity and Princess, Holland America's ships are in the mid-size range and cater to an older clientele. Now, unlike Celebrity and Princess, Holland America is definitely sticking with that. Where Celebrity and Princess seem to be pushing a little bit into that family market, especially Princess, Holland America is perfectly fine with its older clientele. You're not going to see any roller coasters showing up on one of their ships. Holland America is known for a more refined and traditional atmosphere and has smaller ships ranging from accommodating 1,700 to 3,200 passengers, and they offer a wide variety of itineraries, many of which are longer than your typical 7-day cruise. In fact, I would say the majority of their cruises are over 7 days, with a lot in that 14 to 21 day range. HAL does have a reputation of having an older clientele, but the reality isn't quite what the reputation would have you believe. Think more of a healthy mixture of Gen X and boomers instead of just boomers. If you're heading off on an Alaskan cruise, HAL has all the expertise that you're going to want, as they've been cruising there longer than any other line. When it comes to entertainment, Holland America is known for its B.B. King's Blues Club, where you can enjoy live R&B music nightly. Or you can head on over to the World Stage with its 2-story LED screens and enjoy various shows. For those who are lifelong learners like me, HAL offers an exclusive video lecture series that features experts on the regions that you're going to be visiting on your cruise. Oftentimes, experts will be brought on board to give talks on any number of subjects, from regional topics to enrichment on anything from maritime history to music, film, literature, and more. Foodies will love Holland America, as it works with world-class chefs to design menus and restaurants for the line. Unique to HAL is its global fresh fish program, where they locally source over 80 varieties of fresh seafood throughout their ports. If casual dining is more your thing, they have you covered there as well, with poolside pizza and a casual poolside grill where you can find burgers and fries. Our next cruise line is Cunard. If you're looking for the romance of a traditional cruising experience, then a trip on one of Cunard's ships may be the ticket for you. Whether you choose to book passage on one of Cunard's cruise ships, like the new Queen Anne that's set to launch in May, or on the only cruise liner still sailing the ocean, the Queen Mary 2, you're going to find yourself transported back to the golden days of cruising. While many lines have become more informal and casual, Cunard has maintained a sophistication that harkens back to the days of taking on a steamer across the ocean. Dress codes are still maintained in many venues. There's daily afternoon tea served by waiters in white gloves, gala nights where guests are expected to dress to impress, and you might even spy the occasional tuxedo. However, if you aren't into dressing up for dinner, don't let that stop you, because you can always dine at the buffet, but that is where you're going to have to dine at. With activities ranging from dance classes, think ball dance, not hip hop, art classes, enrichment talks, and shuffleboard, you're probably not going to be cruising with a lot of young couples with children. If you are keen to avoid children on your cruise, those few kids that might be on a Cunard cruise are probably going to be taking advantage of the age-appropriate activities that are available to them in the kids club areas on board. I was actually amused at the myths section on Cunard's website, where they try to debunk the idea that Cunard has a class system on their ships. While every guest can expect an elegant experience, I am sure, there are definitely different classes of cruisers, to the point that different staterooms come with access to different restaurants and spaces. I mean, this harkens back to what you think of when you think of the Titanic, in my opinion. And even Cunard couldn't make it sound like there wasn't a class system on this website. It was pretty funny. While suite guests have access to restricted areas on most cruise lines, there's definitely seems to be a first class on board Cunard ships. And that would be those that are staying in Queen's Grill suites, and then the Princess Grill's not far behind. But even those two are separated. I, for one, have a transatlantic on the Queen Mary 2 on my bucket list, so that I can just experience it one time. Even though I don't think that Cunard has that experience on a whole that's necessarily for me. I don't want to dress up every night. I know I have mentioned that part of sailing as a middle-aged cruiser probably means wanting to do so without being surrounded by children. But if you want to guarantee a child-free cruise, you have a few options. Now, before we get into those, if you're finding value in this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Did you know that hitting that subscribe button doesn't cost you a thing? I actually had my dad say this the other day, that he wouldn't subscribe to anything, that he loves watching bluegrass videos, and he wouldn't subscribe to any of them because he was afraid it was going to cost him something in the end. It doesn't. It does, however, really help out our channel, and it lets YouTube know that you like our content and content like ours. Hit that notification bell so that you will be notified when new videos drop, so that you don't miss any future posts. Let's look at a few lines that will guarantee you are on an adults-only cruise, where every part of the cruise is designed with adults in mind. Now, Virgin Voyages is new on the scene, and it offers a unique cruising experiences for those 18 and older. With its modern take on cruising that includes a tattoo parlor on board and special rock star suites, you wouldn't be seen as crazy to assume that the majority of cruisers on a Virgin ship would be in their 20s. Doesn't help that all of their early advertising was all people in their 20s. However, that hasn't been the case, with the average age being more in the 40s and 50s. This may have something to do with the price point for passage on one of their ships. While the cost has come down from those first sailings where they really were pricing it a lot higher, more like a luxury line, you're still going to probably find that older cruisers with more expendable money are more likely to book this all-inclusive experience. If you're looking into trying out one of their 3 ships, it's important to take into consideration all that's included with your cruise fare. There will be no need to worry about whether you will dine in the MDR or spring for specialty dining, since part of Virgin's reimagined cruise experience means all dining is specialty dining, and it's all included in your fare. Taking a cue from their British roots, you're not going to need to worry about adding on gratuities, and tipping is just not a thing. Another perk is free Wi-Fi, or maybe I should say included Wi-Fi. Drinks too are included. Well, not non-alcoholic drinks, but they're not included, but like sodas and juice are all included, sparkling water. Don't expect to be able to buy a drinks package though, as Virgin has decided to forego that traditional drink package deal that most lines have, and instead they price their drinks reasonably, and it really is quite different, and the prices are what you would normally find on land. They do, however, offer a deal where you can prepay for drinks, which can get you up to $50 onboard credit that you can then use for additional drinks. So it's kind of like buy 10, get 1 free type thing, right? And because you have prepaid for what is essentially a bar tab, you can use it however you want, even to purchase drinks for a friend. If you're wanting an adults-only cruise and you're willing to pay luxury pricing for a small, intimate experience, then there are 2 lines that you should look into. The first one is Saga. Saga Cruises has really made themselves unique in that not only are they an adults-only cruise line, but you have to be 50 or older to book a cruise with Saga. Now, they will allow those in their 40s to cruise, but they have to do so with someone 50 or older. So maybe you have, like my mother, she would be old enough to book the cruise and I could go with her. Or maybe you have somebody who's in their 50s with their partners being in their 40s, and that allows them to still cruise together. With Saga's all-balcony ships holding under 1,000 passengers, you can expect luxury and relaxation. With less than 2 passengers per crew member, you can be assured personal service. The kind where the crew not only know your name, but your preferences as well. You will, however, pay for this privilege. Along with your cruise fare does come a lot of perks though, including, depending on what you book, travel to and from your cruise, even from your house. Like they pick you up at your house. You get Wi-Fi, drinks, excursions, and even your gratuities. So the second one on our list is Viking. And even people who aren't familiar with cruising probably have heard of Viking cruises. They're very well known. I know I was well aware of the luxury line prior to becoming a cruise enthusiast. Like Virgin Voyages, you must be 18 to cruise on Viking, but I can't imagine 2 more different experiences. Similar to Saga, Viking ships hold just shy of 1,000 passengers when fully booked, with 1 crew member for every 2 passengers. Culture, sophistication, luxury, formality, all come to mind when I think of a Viking cruise. On their website, they have a section entitled, "What Viking is Not?" where it lists many things that most people have come to expect from cruise lines. So they don't have any casinos, no umbrella drinks. So no, tropical drinks, no art auctions, no formal nights. And that's probably because every night is kind of a formal night compared to lines like Norwegian and Carnival. There's no smoking on their ships, no inside staterooms, and quite a bit more. Some people find that smaller cruise ships like those that Saga and Viking have in their fleets are lacking in entertainment and things to do when not in port. Viking goes so far to call their onboard activities onboard cultural enrichment, which makes sense when you look at some of the things that they have available, like TED Talks, Port Talks, and the Metropolitan Opera, live in HD. So they're not actually there. If you are a fan of large production and Broadway-style shows, then these lines are probably not for you. So which of these lines is your favorite, or you think that you might like to try out? Let me know in the comments below. We're booked on the Celebrity for 2025, but I do want to try out Princess and Holland America soon as well. As with anything, do your research so you will better know what to expect and thus be more likely to choose the right line and ship for you. Look at cruise line websites to see what is included in your cruise fare and what there is to do on board the ship. Look for videos that have reviews and ship tours. So, are you ready for more information on cruising? Are you still not sure what your next cruise should be? Why not stick around and check out this video on 5 cruises to try before you die, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.